think it is completely reasonable for a married woman, a woman in a committed relationship, to start to behave and dress and act differently than she did when she was single. I would hope that both parties, man and woman, would try to present themselves in a way that would be respectful to the other person, because they are now a union. The two have become one. However, I know today there are a lot of ladies out there who don't agree with that, and who think that no matter what, a woman is married, has a kid with a man, is in a committed relationship or not, she should be able to wear whatever she wants, and he should be secure enough no matter what she chooses to wear. This brings up a situation that happened recently between Keke Palmer and her boyfriend, aka baby daddy. They went viral because her baby daddy evidently was shaming her based upon an outfit she wore at an Usher concert. Now, personally, I think it's not just about the outfit. I think it's about the overall situation, but I'm going to bring it up for you guys, and then we are going to unpack it. Now, here, as you can see, Usher is serenading Keke Palmer with a song. They are hugging each other. They're getting very intimate, very flirtatious. She's having a lot of fun with her girlfriends. They're in the back bigging her up. Now, here is the response of her boyfriend, aka baby daddy. His response to seeing his girlfriend, baby mama, hugged up on this artist, serenading her, is, "It's the outfit though, you a mom." Right? He's not too happy about it. Then he further reiterates in this tweet. He says, "We live in a generation where a man of the family doesn't want the wife and mother to his kids to showcase booty cheeks to please others, and he gets told how much of a hater he is. This is my family and my representation. I have standards and morals to what I believe. I rest my case." So, y'all, he wasn't buying it. Now, of course, he got pushback. People saying he was insecure. People saying that he is leading with his insecurities. It's not that big of a deal. She should be able to do what she wants, etc., etc. As I mentioned before, I don't think it's unreasonable for a man who is with a woman, who is married to a woman, who has a child with a woman, to have expectations that she would dress in a way that would be reflective of her marital status. I don't think that that is unreasonable at all. Just like I'm sure a woman would not want her husband or her man to go out and act and present himself like he's single. Like, to me, that is just common sense. The problem with this, however, is that, first of all, they're not married. I know he mentioned wife and mother. It's not his wife. And so the problem is, when you're in a relationship with a modern woman, or with women who have a more feminist, independent-minded mindset, when you now try to operate in a way that's more traditional, they're going to clap back and be like, "No, this is patriarchy. This is misogynistic. I do what I want. I'm single. I'm independent," etc. And because they don't have that union of marriage, because they have not committed in that way, this woman at any point in time could stand up and be like, "Hold up, you're not my husband. Hold up, like, you don't own me, or you don't control me, or whatever. I can do whatever I want." I don't know what her response is yet. We will probably see in the near future. But I'm saying, at the end of the day, he's really wanting, it sounds like this man is wanting to operate more traditionally. He's wanting to operate in a way where a man and wife would come together and raise kids. They would have more traditional values, that they would reflect themselves in a way, that they would behave themselves in a way that is reflective of those traditional values. And Keke Palmer is an independent woman. She is a celebrity in that space. And so unless she openly says, and unless she openly decides that she wants to take a more traditional route, it's very difficult for women who are in the entertainment business to operate under that context. So I was looking at this and I'm like, oh, this is difficult, because you have a man who wants to be more traditionally minded. You likely have a woman who was more modern minded, and now they have a baby. And this brings me to my bigger point. One of the reasons I believe marry before you carry is because when it comes to bringing another human being into the world, you would hope that there's going to be shared values. You would hope that there is going to be a shared perspective. You would hope that you will have already worked out all of these bigger kinks and all of these bigger conversations. If he had an expectation that she was going to present in a particular way or act in a certain way, hopefully they would have had that conversation beforehand. Hopefully they would have vetted he went and went through the process to understand, based upon just the way that she acted or based upon the things that she said, that yeah, she's in alignment with my values, she's in alignment with how I want to raise my family, or she's not. But it seems like that conversation didn't happen. Or if it did happen, they weren't clear about it. This is a big problem when people just start creating kids, but they haven't aligned on values. Usually, but when somebody gets married, hopefully, not all the time, but hopefully they would have gone through a process, be it premarital counseling, different individual counseling, spiritual counseling, all of the above. And so usually a part of that process is helping to understand, is this person that I'm thinking to build my life with, do we have aligned goals? Do we believe in the same God? Do we have the same spiritual convictions? Are we willing to build our life based upon these principles? Those are all things and all conversations that should be had before you bring another human into this world. Unfortunately, a lot of younger people are not taught that. This baby mama culture is, it's almost promoted like it's something cute. We constantly see celebrities being promoted and celebrated for having kids outside of wedlock, while those celebrities have millionaires and nannies and things to help mitigate the challenges associated with raising a kid. Meanwhile, you have average, everyday American women who are looking up to those celebrities as like social icons, but they don't have the celebrity budget. They may have the celebrity aspirations, but they don't have the budget. And so they may do the same things, but they don't have the same results. Now they have to take care of this kid by themselves because the person they had the kid with, they didn't have the shared value. So ultimately it just becomes a big mess when you bring a child in this world and there has not been the discussions beforehand about whether or not the person you're with is even worth having a child with, whether or not that person is even wife or husband material. And this is a prime example of, I think, what happens far too often when people, they kind of jump into something, or they get into something and maybe they figure out, crap, maybe we should have had those conversations. Now we have a baby in this scenario, and now we have to figure out whether or not we have shared values. Hopefully these conversations will be had beforehand. And this is why I truly believe, ladies, marry before you carry. Because usually if you are marrying, you're naturally going to take more steps and you're naturally going to be a lot more cautious about going down the aisle, given the divorce rate and given all of the history associated with marriage. So once you've gone through that big hurdle and you've decided, okay, this is a person where we have shared values, we've gone through the counseling, we've gone through the process, we've got to know each other. Now it's a lot safer for you to have a kid. But if you're just kind of shacking up girlfriend and boyfriend, and you are in a relationship with a modern woman or with a woman who's a celebrity who's around other independent modern women, it's going to be very hard to try to assert traditional values over a woman who may not ascribe to that lifestyle.
Really, at the end of the day, a lot of the stuff I think is what it is. You're going to see it. You're going to see more of it. The best way to get out of it for ladies is to reject what culture is telling you, is to reject what you have been sold as normal. I think a lot of women don't understand what they're missing out of. I don't think they understand what they're missing out of when they don't do things according to the way God has established them. I firmly believe the best way to avoid these situations is to go back to what God created and what God intended. Man and woman coming together under God and building a family. I'm not saying it's going to be perfect. It's not. But rejecting these standards and rejecting the norms of what society tells you and getting back into alignment with who God created and intended you to be as a woman, I think is one of the best ways to truly find fulfillment and to avoid a lot of this baby mama, baby daddy drama. God didn't just create women to just be hoes. God didn't create women to go out there and just be acting like they have no common sense. God didn't create women to be so selfish and so concerned about what they can wear and their freedoms and what they can do. God created women to help establish communities, to raise up kids, to be a wealth of resources, to be a wealth of wisdom. I mean, women have so much power and so much influence to do good, to literally change the course of an entire generation, to literally change the course of their families. They can do so much to help uplift the men in the life, to help uplift the kids in the life, to help improve society, to help improve and impart wisdom, to help improve and impart values that will help set their kids up for success. There is so much that women could do if they got into alignment with who God created them to be. But unfortunately, a lot of ladies are just told that they are how they can look, they are how much attention they can get from men who don't really care about them. And it's like they are divorced from the beauty of who they could be if they allowed God to redefine, to reestablish their values. So to me, as a woman, bringing honor to my husband by how I act, by how I conduct myself, by how I behave when I'm around him, when I'm not around him, I see that as an honor. I see that as my privilege because I recognize ultimately I'm helping to build a home. A wise woman builds her house, but a foolish woman tears it down. I don't want to be a foolish woman. I want to be a woman that builds up my house, that builds up my community, that builds up the thing around me so that it can be a safe haven in the realm of influence. But if it all comes about what he's doing wrong or what he's not doing or what I'm not doing, if you want a traditional or a godly setup, but you're not willing to go about doing it in a traditional or godly way, then we cannot be surprised when we have the results that we have. But those are my thoughts. What do you think? Do you agree or disagree? Let me know. Leave your questions, comments, concerns in the comment section below. Thank you so much for listening if you've gotten this far, and we'll talk later. Bye.